Welcome to the Turtle Optimist podcast. Have you ever considered the changing face of Santa Claus? Today, we speak with a passionate advocate who, after noticing a need in 2014, decided to make a difference. We will hear about the revival of the Santas of Color Coalition and the vision for an inclusive future of Santa representation. Welcome to the show, Santa George.
Hello, everybody.
I'm so glad you're here today. I'm really excited to have this conversation with you. Would you like to share like what location you're in, where you're at, anything like that?
Sure. My name is George Smithers, my born name, and we are a professional Santa, and have been a professional Santa for over 20 plus years, serving our community, our family, and then on to the nation.
Mhm.
We've had a great time doing that. We are an educator by education. So we have a bachelor's degree in education with dual certification for regular ed and special ed. Um, we are also dabbling in children book authorship. We have two books that are looking to be published this year for the very first time.
Mhm.
We're just um, family of faith, love, joy, friendship, and fellowship.
Awesome. Awesome. I love that. I love that. Well, welcome to the show. So in 2014, you observed a growing number of Black Santas without formal training. So what sparked your initial concern and what was the immediate reaction from the Santa community?
So, um, actually, it was more like 2018-ish when I actually noticed the influx of Santas of color just buying suits, putting them on,
Mhm.
and then posting pictures of events and things that they were doing. And at that time, we were traveling all across the United States in malls from Maryland to Michigan on to Tennessee, even in Florida, and some other major malls. So, as I was seeing how things were developing, being an African American male, I know how things can be. So, I reached out to a few of our fellow Santas and said, "Hey, this is something that I'm noticing. I think we probably need to get ahead of the ball and start training folks because if somebody does something inappropriate, we're going to all get painted with the broad brush."
Mhm.
So to try to get ahead of those kinds of things happening, I reached out to some fellow Santas and we talked about it and decided that we were going to come together under an umbrella and start training Santas.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it when people like see a need and then they're like, let's do something instead of just talking about it. So I love the action behind that. It's really good and needed, obviously. um, so you and I talked before this recording. You had said that you connected with, I believe, a Santa in Atlanta about like reviving the Santas of Color coalition. So can you describe the early days of that, what I'm going to call a revival, and the challenges you faced in getting the group active?
So basically, after reaching out to a couple different Santas, I reached out to Santa D. St. Clair, who is better known as the Real Black Santa in Atlanta, Georgia. And he had a Facebook page that he had already established called the Santas of Color Coalition. At that time, I believe it was active, but I don't know if there was a whole lot going on in terms of what we're doing now.
Mhm.
So after our conversation, we decided that we would take the page and start sending out invites to folks and having them join us for a monthly call every month
Mhm.
where we talk about Santa and the business of being Santa
Mhm.
and what it takes from the heart and from the head to be able to spread joy and happiness to children all across America, regardless of their race, background, social economic status, and or their intellectual abilities.
Mhm.
So we started out just simply doing monthly calls where we talked about suits, bells, boots, how we talked about how to reach out to clients and how to develop relationships so that you could be the best Santa that you could be.
Mhm.
Then from there in 2023, we met in Louisville, Kentucky at the Roots 101 African American Museum. It was 17 of us that got together in a room and kind of talked about the business of being Santa, what we thought it should be, where we would like to see it go, the things that we'd like to see people learn.
Mhm.
And we developed at that point I guess, official group of Stand Up Color Coalition where we nominated officers. And Stanley Sinclair was nominated to be the president, and I was nominated to be the vice president. And then we set in motion officers, and we started working together as a group.
Awesome. So from that training in 2023, I don't know if you remember, but I'm just wondering what were some of the most impactful takeaways from that gathering, and then how did it shape the vision of this upcoming Santa Summit and Boot Camp?
So at that meeting, one of the things that really stood out to me was the passion of the folks that were in the room. The passion to bring the spirit of Christmas, the spirit of joy, the spirit of love, caring, and giving to each and every person that those individuals were to see during the season. Um, Stadford Braxton, who is out of North Carolina, excuse me,
Mhm.
he has a business called Santa Just Like Me, and they did a documentary on him at the local malls, and he shared with us a piece of that film and some of the horrible things that he had to go through um, putting a ethnic Santa in the mall. Some of the cruel calls and cruel comments and statements that was made toward him for his efforts to just bring representation to children of color.
Mhm.
So I think that from those two major pieces, we were able to formulate that we were going to be a group of Santas that were going to be about representation, that we were going to not leave any child or any family unseen, unheard, unrepresented.
So 2025, this year, the Santa Summit and Boot Camp is going to be hosted at Roots 101 African American Museum. And so I'm wondering what, from our conversation, that summit is really open to all Santas and all Santa family members. So, what do you hope that this summit of inclusivity will achieve for all of you?
So this Santa Summit again is for all Santas, whether you are a ethnic Santa or not.
Mhm.
Um, and what we're looking to achieve is to educate, to inspire, and to uplift our Santa community through training, through fellowship,
Mhm.
through conversation, honest conversation about where we see Santa going in the future.
Mhm.
So we're going to be talking about uh, beard care. We're going to talk about uh, storytelling and how to do story. We're going to talk about marketing and website building. We're going to even have a Mrs. Claus come in and talk about Claus fashion
Mhm.
and how to do it on budget. So we have a lot of interesting things planned for the summer, and we are so excited about hosting it again in Louisville, Kentucky, number one,
Mhm.
but also partnershiping with Roots 101 African American Museum, where we held our very first gathering in 2023.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, when I spoke to you, I'm from Indiana originally, but I had never heard of the museum located in Louisville. So I definitely would like to go and visit. So I'm really excited just to kind of connect that with you through this. So thank you for sharing.
Absolutely.
So the trainings that you said, beard care. I believe you're going to even talk about maybe posing, for pictures, the history of St. Nicholas. In your opinion, what session do you believe is going to be the most crucial for a modern Santa and why?
So, that's an interesting question, and it all depends on the person.
Mhm,
What is it that you're trying to get out of being Santa? Because everything that we're going to talk about is paramount of importance. So, for example, storytelling. When you talk about storytelling, we're talking about performance. How do you engage the people that come and see you?
mhm,
How do you keep them engaged in the visit?
mhm,
Then, if you talk about marketing and branding, how do you market yourself? How do you brand yourself? What that looks like. Then, when you talk about even with the posing for pictures, how do we get the children to relax, smile, and give that quote unquote perfect picture
mhm,
with Santa? So every class that we're going to be teaching is going to be of paramount importance. Even we talk about the Klaus fashion and what that should look like and how to do it on a budget. A lot of folks, may have the heart of Santa, but may not have a big budget to do it.
mhm,
So we're going to teach people how to do it on a budget and still be able to bring those magical moments to families. One of the things that we are endeavoring to do is not just um, make it a visit, but make it an experience.
mhm,
So that family can have a tradition, can have a moment that will last them for a lifetime. And children will say, man, my childhood was magical. My parents took me to see a Santa and he was just awesome. I need to find that guy.
Yeah, yeah. And I think we'll talk about that maybe in a little bit. So we'll see where the conversation leads. You're also an educator, and you have experience working with children with special needs and at-risk children. So I'm wondering how your background in that, how it influences your approach to portraying Santa.
Actually, it has helped me a lot. I'll share a quick story with you. Um, I was in Michigan one year, and a mother brought her daughter in, um, who had serious physical disabilities. So she was in a wheelchair, had some other things going on. Her mother picks her up, sets her on her lap, sits next to me. We get a picture.
Mhm.
So once we got the picture, I said to the mom, would you like for me to take a picture with just me and her?
Mhm.
And she looked at me like, I'm not too sure about that.
Yeah.
So I said to her, I said, trust me, I work with children with disabilities. I'm very knowledgeable about what I'm doing. She'll be fine.
Mhm.
So she handed it to me.
Mhm.
And I began to talk really softly to the child because she was kind of shaking and tremoring. And after a few minutes, she just relaxed in my arms. And her mom, I looked up and her mom was over there just bawling.
Mhm.
And we got the picture. And after she was done, she said, I never thought
Mhm.
I would ever get a picture like this.
Yeah.
So I think it has been very impactful in what I'm able to do, as well as seeing children who are on the spectrum for autism,
Mhm.
who can't stand the loud noises or, being out of their comfort zone. I'm able to do for them in the chair what other Santas just don't have the knowledge to do.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like you're in the perfect line of work then. That's
Oh,
great.
absolutely.
Yeah. So talk to me about, I don't know if this is the coalition's mission or if it's your personal mission, about normalize and nationalize ethnic Santas anywhere and everywhere. That really stood out to me when we talked originally. And so I'm just wondering, what does that vision look like in practice, and what are the key steps in achieving it?
So it's actually a personal mission as well as a group mission to nationalize and to normalize Santas of color. So when we look at the history of Santa, if we go all the way back to its original origin, and find out where he originated from, it's most likely that he was ethnic to begin.
Hmm.
So as you travel through time, you'll find that I think it was 1937 here in America, Coca-Cola bought out the Santa that we all know now
Oh.
and that kids see now. So everywhere you see a Caucasian Santa with a long white beard, white mustache curled under, with the red and white Santa suit, whether it's the fur down the front or the buttons down the front. That's where that Santa was actually born.
Hmm.
So, so now we're just trying to make sure that when children see a Santa of color,
Mhm.
whether he's African American, whether he's Asian, whether he's Hispanic, or whether he's Caucasian, that when they look at those Santas, it's so normal to see them
Mhm.
that they can't say which one is supposedly the real Santa.
Mhm.
So it's our mission to make sure that it is normal to see all Santas.
Mhm.
And it's so normal that kids won't just pick out one Santa, that
Mhm.
they're able to see themselves in characters that are just as magical and mystical as a princess or a prince.
Mhm. I love that. Yeah, I love that. That's great. What is one of the most heartwarming or memorable experiences you've had as Santa, particularly with interaction with children?
Oh, wow. There are so many that come to mind. One of them that I just adore is a young lady. She's actually, I think she'll be 11 this year.
Mm.
Um, Her mom's name is Lindsay, and her name is Layla. Lindsay happened to stumble up on me in 2018, I think when Layla was 4.
Mm.
And she had picked her up from daycare, and coming out of the daycare, her daughter just kind of stopped in wonder of seeing the Santa of brown skin.
Mhm.
So, long story short, she brought her back, I think that weekend, and we took pictures. And then the next couple of days, they showed back up for pictures again. And she said she can't stop talking about you.
Mm.
So let's fast forward a little bit. In 2018, no, 2019, um, she calls me and she says, Santa, where are you? I said, well, I'm in Maryland. And she said, what part? So I told her where I was. And she said, I just might bring Layla to see you. So long story short, Thanksgiving, the week of Thanksgiving, that Wednesday, I'm sitting in the chair in the mall. And here comes Layla and her mom walking down the center court of the mall. So she put her daughter on the plane and brought her to Maryland to see me. And she has seen me every single year
Mm.
since 2018 without fail. And actually, I've written a book about her and I. It's called He's Brown.
Mhm.
The title comes from an interview that we did with a local news station, and they asked her, "Why do you like him so much?" She said, "No, I don't like him. I love him."
Mm.
And they said, "Well, why?" And she said, "Because he's brown."
Mm.
So that's where the title comes from.
Mhm. I love that. I love that. So, looking ahead, what are your biggest hopes or dreams for Santa's Color Coalition, and how do you envision the future of Santa representation?
So my hopes and dreams for the coalition is that we will become a group that has cohesiveness, that has camaraderie, who has love and respect for one another and for the art of being Santa,
Mhm.
that we will be professional, that we'll be trained, educated in all areas of the Santa industry and how we do Santa,
Mhm.
that will be so impactful with the community that we will indeed actually normalize and nationalize Santas of color uh, all across the nation and across the world. It is so, so important that kids see themselves, see representation of themselves in every place that they go and see. They should see um, um, Black judges and Black police officers and Black bankers and Black teachers and Latino judges and Latino pastors and Latino store owners. They should see Asian and Japanese and Chinese entrepreneurs in everywhere and in everything that they do. It should be seen.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you for that. That is the world that I want to live in for sure. So thank you for that. So before we wrap up, are there any websites that you would like to share as far as for the summit, for the coalition, for your book, anything like that?
So, Santas of Color Coalition can be found on Facebook, just the way it sounds, Santas of Color Coalition is a Facebook group. You have to be a Christmas performer to join, but you can see what we're doing
Okay.
on there. So if you just want to go kind of check us out, see what we're doing, just go to Santas of Color Coalition on Facebook page. We do have a website for booking if you want to book a Santa of Color. I believe it's info at santasofcolorcoalition.com.
Mhm.
And you can look under your state, and there you'll find the Santa that can service you in your state. A lot of us do travel nationwide. I am a traveling Santa, so I am all over the United States, from California to Boston to Florida. To the Midwest, Denver, Michigan, Tennessee. So we do a lot of traveling. Um, so the books that we're going to release this year, the first one is The Night Before Christmas at the North Pole. It's a little twist on the night before Christmas. It just tells you what goes on at the North Pole. All new reindeer, some elves. It's just the cutest little story that's ever been told, I think. And then He's Brown, which is the story of Layla and I. So we're hoping to have those books available. You can find us on Facebook at Santa George Smithers, just the way it sounds, Santa George, and then Smithers, Smithers. And then we have a website called santageorgeandfriends.net. And there you'll see all of our friends that travel with us, not only during Christmas, but the Easter Bunny, Easter time. We have some characters that do birthday parties to include Spider-Man, Black Panther, Princess Tiana, and a host of other characters that we are bringing to life for folks to enjoy.
Wow, well, thank you for that. And I'm hoping this year that you might come to Connecticut because I would love to meet you in person. So
Oh,
thank you.
Connecticut is definitely on the menu. I've been to Connecticut several times. So they're
Awesome.
at I think it's the West Farms Mall in Farmington, Connecticut. So
Okay.
that's where we'll be.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you, Santa George, really for a great conversation. And I'm excited to meet you. I'm excited about this message getting out there so other people know that this is something people are focusing on. And I would say that the work of the Santas of Color Coalition, it's important to have a Santa representation. Santa's represented all over. And so for any of the listeners, whether you're part of the Santa community or simply believe in the power of representation, this is a movement worth supporting. I will add the websites in the show notes so everybody can access them. And until next time, I'll see you next time on Turtle Optimist. Thanks so much.
Can I mention one more thing before you go? And I apologize. I meant to mention this earlier.
Yeah.
We are doing a film. It's called Beyond the Chair.
Mm.
It's with one of our other local partners. It's going to feature some of the things that we're talking about, how Santas operate throughout the year, how benevolent they are. It's about faith, family, and tradition. So be on the lookout for that film. It's called Beyond the Chair, and Santa George and Santa Lincoln Crumb are co-producers of that movie.
Wonderful. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it.
Thank you so very much for having us.
All right. Have a great day.